Huaxuan Chen, and I was so honored to moderate the opening segment yesterday. If you still remember what Miss Bass said, she talked about the power of youth. And this morning, we held our first Girls in Science panel, making history with girls from around the world. We have prepared a list of recommendations to the member states, which we are very proud to present to you this afternoon. Of course, none of this could have been possible without RASIT, Princess Dr. Nasreen, the co-organizers and co-sponsors of this conference, the Permanent Mission of Vietnam for coming and speaking, Andrew, a mentor from Switzerland, and last but definitely not least, my amazing co-chairs, Rebecca Jekogian and Talya Ozdemir.
Good afternoon to our future colleagues. I am Rebecca Jekogian. 2 years ago, I was honored to be the first girl in science speaking at the first International Day of Women and Girls in Science. Today, Talya, Helen, and I are here because we believe that every girl needs an opportunity to become a scientist. We must put a stop to gender gaps in science and putting women down. We have made the beginning of the solutions, which will be started by you, but finished by us.
Good afternoon, Her Royal Highness Princess Dr. Nesrin El Hashemite, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. I am Talya Ozdemir and I have come from Turkey. I was honored to present the children's vision at the first International Agora in 2016 and in February 2017 at the second commemoration of the International Day of Women and Girls in Science. Also today, I was honored to co-chair the Women and Girls in Science panel with my colleague Rebecca. I would like to thank all the participants. At our session, we talked about the problems that Rebecca just said, and we found solutions for that problems. My future dream is to become a cardiologist. Thank you, Princess Dr. Nesrin El Hashemite. I believe in myself, and I want all the girls around the world believe in themselves. Thank you for your attention.
And now for our recommendations. So anchored in the voices, expertise, stories, rightful opinions, and experiences of young people, especially girls, to inform discussions of the International Day of Women and Girls in Science Forum on its priority theme of equality and parity in science for peace and development, we, the participants of the first Girls in Science panel of the third International Day, we, the girls in science, present the outcome document to support equality and parity in science for peace and development.
Recognizing that gender and science careers are binary and that it is crucial to adopt and implement policies, resource programs, and projects to empower girls to go into STEAM subjects.
Prioritizing marginalized voices requires the creation of space to ensure full and meaningful participation of young girls in all their diversities, especially those in rural areas, refugees, and those from developing countries.
Achieve Sustainable Development Goals with a spotlight on SDG 17, Partnerships for the Goals.
Actively engaging all boys is a necessity to promote all rights and equal standings thereof is in supporting work towards gender equality, human rights, and empowerment of young girls through activism and advocacy in all spaces, especially in the workplace. We, the diverse and equally valued attendees of International Day of Women and Girls in Science panel, have collectively identified the following priorities.
Female leadership in the sciences. Request strongly and equal value be attributed to women's leadership as that of men, including equal leadership opportunities and opportunities to further their interests in the science of young persons of any spectrum.
Or technically and financially, the meaningful participation of young women in the creation and implementation of policies and programs that affect their lives.
Protect women from sexual harassment and abuse from colleagues in the workplace through policy, education, and example.
Protect and promote the work of young girls by ensuring favorable conditions for their activism and facilitating access to information and resources.
Those who abuse their rights and freedoms and those who infringe on those of vulnerable parties.
Ensure systemic and developed mechanisms for young women to meaningfully participate in decision-making, especially that which directly affects them, and assure that young women in these positions are visible as role models.
Invest in youth-led organizations, mentorship programs, and campaigns, especially at the grassroots.
Implement quotas on female representations so girls get the opportunity to hold leadership positions, changing the nature faster in the workplace.
Recognize more girls with STEM awards and recognition to provide more credibility and support.
Technology and innovation. Utilize social media to showcase female accomplishments and contributions to science.
Provide more students in developing countries with internet access to increase their access to valuable resources and advanced learning materials.
Ensure all students have access to electricity to improve education.
Educate girls how to use various technologies so they could implement it and teach it to their communities.
Invest in renewable energy to provide more students with clean and affordable electricity.
Partners and allies. Recognize that men and boys play a very important role in advocating for gender equality in the home, at school, and in the workplace.
Collaborate with boys and men as partners, not competitors, to achieve sustainable development.
Encourage other girls to support their girlfriends, other friends who are girls to achieve their best.
Intensive all members of the company, school, workplace to advocate for gender equality, equal pay, and maternity leave support.
Encourage boys to understand that girls are equal to boys and that it's the status quo that girls are in non-traditional careers.
Idea of power sharing between as opposed to power transfer between friends.
Education and skills development. Provide scholarships for international students to achieve their dreams with adequate funding.
Provide students with mentorship opportunities, both at home and through educational programs to retain interest in STEM careers.
Change the mindset for lifelong learning.
Engage children at younger ages to break the glass ceiling and eradicate false precaution in the future.
Encourage girls to follow their passions to ensure lifelong learning.
Mindset that one must be good at a subject to pursue it as a career.
Ensure teachers are educating equality practices and encouraging all students to follow their dreams.
Accept others and their strengths.
Classroom provide equal and adequate education for all.
Support and play all students' different learning styles to achieve more effective and student-centered education.
Support online distance learning, including social media apps and other technological advances, and is synchronized learning for those in rural areas to advance learning.
And safety. Provide empathy and compassionate training for hospitals and doctors.
Adequate equal opportunity family leave so fathers and mothers can work and take care of their children together.
Create laws on domestic violence to ensure women are being treated equally in the home.
And lastly, to include women in clinical studies so we can understand how women are affected by different diseases.
With only 13 and a half years to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals, we call upon member states to continue and increase their political and financial support for young women's leadership and journey to become scientists. We would like to thank RASIT, the government of Malta, the UNCTAD, the Mission of Vietnam, the Mission of Costa Rica, and Princess Dr. Nasreen Al-Hashemite and Andrew Mutz for making our dreams a future reality.
We call upon policymakers and governments to adopt this outcome and continue to support the International Day of Women and Girls in Science to achieve sustainable development for all.
Off with a quote. If you know you're on the right track, if you have this inner knowledge, then nobody can turn you off no matter what they say. Barbara McClintock, cytogeneticist and winner of the 1983 Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine.
Well, thank you so much, my future colleagues, for these wonderful recommendations, and I hope their excellencies, they will listen and take, as you recalled, for them to adopt your outcome. You are in good hands, you can see. You have all these member states co-sponsoring, all these member states coming together to organize this event, and here you are. Wonderful.